Greetings, it's Vaygrim, back on the Resonant Rise server. I am here after a little bit of a break because of some server performance issues. I was going to record an episode on last Friday. That got passed over, as did Monday's potential live streaming, because there were some server performance issues. But it looks like they've been ironed out. We are running smooth, 20 TPS. The server's been had the bumps ironed out of it very, very nicely. So I'm getting back to work. Now here's the thing, right? I had my nifty, being the key word, my nifty power armor suit. Well, you'll notice it's gone. I died in our mining age to a random group of pigmen that had come in through that nether portal, basically. And there's about 30 of them. I took a weapon swing at one because I actually was aiming for something else with my axe to chop a tree down, and one walked right in front of me. Angered the whole group. Well, I was doing fine until suddenly my armor, I flew up into the air, and my armor suddenly spontaneously overheated and killed me. No gravestone. Everything was lost. Now, thankfully, all I had was atomic disassembler, staff of traveling. I had my bound blade. I have since made a new one. Made replacements for these, and I had just this stuff right here. These all easily replaceable. The armor I've decided not to make. Instead, I've gone back to some old standbys, and I've got what I think is going to amount to a really, really, really good project for some replacement armor. So, we have been making really good headway with our blood altar and some of our different abilities with blood magic. Been working really well for us. Well, I have decided to go a couple of steps further. I've been working on other weird components, and I have actually decided to make some bound armor. Now, I have to make an entire set of this stuff in order for it to be really worthwhile, but I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the effort. So what I'm actually going to do is go through it here and explain the little bits and processes. Now, here's the thing. This requires filled sockets to make the armor, and unfortunately these take a while to fill. 30,000 LP from your blood altar, so 30,000 blood points basically, and going through 24 of those, well actually 28 of those, is a bit of a pain. I also had to make a whole bunch of these because I had about 10 of them, but you can duplicate them and make extra, but I had to make a whole bunch of imbued slates in order to do that. So there were several steps in preparation. Now I had to make 24 of these, plus I needed 4 extra to make this, the Soul Armor Forge. This is a block that is used in a very interesting and, I dare say, revolutionary process for armor making. Basically, the way that armor works with blood magic, this is like a crafting grid. There is no UI. Way of Time, the gentleman that makes blood magic, is a very firm believer in little to no GUIs as possible. If he doesn't need a GUI to do something, he doesn't make a graphic interface for it. He does it this way. So this is basically a big crafting table. I have used blood rune blocks on the outside of this, but I honestly think you can use anything. And basically you make shapes like normal armor shapes, and then you put the Soul Armor Forge block somewhere in the spare space. Now, I could right-click on this and get bound armor, but what I'm going to do is upgrade it. Now, here's the thing. Every single piece of armor has basically 3 slots. You have to calibrate it with a shard. Then you put a sigil in. If I put in a water sigil, it gives me water breathing. If I put in an air sigil, it means it negates fall damage. Things like that. Very, very nice. Well, what I can actually do, lava negates lava damage. Sigil of the Green Grove, basically every time I walk around, my armor just makes things grow. Trees, plants, grass, whatever. It's very nice, very useful. Divination Sigil is night vision. So I will be immune to lava damage, be able to breathe underwater. I will have haste from the haste sigil, and a little bit of a jump boost. Night vision, Green Grove, and no fall damage. Now, here's the thing. 1 sigil requires 1 weak blood shard. If you have demon blood shards, you can actually put 2 sigils on 1 piece of armor, 2 upgrades. But if you just put a shard and a sigil, every time it uses that effect, it takes blood from your blood network. If you put a master blood orb in there with it, it doesn't do that. So what I can do with this chest piece, let's do the demon blood shard. Nope. Blood orb, put that back. Then let's see, what I am actually going to do is water and lava, right click, and there you go, bound chest plate. If I put this on, fire resistance and water breathing. But here's the thing, there's something called devilish protection. I only get devilish protection if I have all 4 pieces on, which means I have to make the rest of the armor to really get the armor benefits. Once I do, though, I will have a full suit. Actually, I'm going to leave those on until the last minute. A full suit of this stuff, ready to go. So, whoopsie. Let's swap that out real quick. Let's grab this block. And I'm going to put it down here. We do like that, just like we were doing some boots. I'm going to put blood shard. I mean a demon shard in there. I'm going to do haste, air, and another blood orb. Then, there's my boots. No fall damage, haste, and it's even free because I put a master blood orb in there. That means it doesn't cost me anything to do those effects. Now, we only have 2 of these weak blood shards left. Now, the demon blood shards are harder to get. I actually did not earn those the proper way. I found those in a dungeon in a chest, a treasure chest in a Choco Quest dungeon. So there's perks to Choco Quest dungeons, but basically it was a roguelike dungeon. In one of the loot chests, I found 2 demon blood shards. Very nice. Saved me some time. So now, these filled sockets, I'm going to... Whoa, that's haste. I'm going to make, just like I was doing pants, put that right in the middle. We do weak blood shard, master orb. Let's do Green Grove. Right click. And I believe every single time I actually fire this off, I use a little bit of blood from my network. So now the last thing to make, the helmet. Blood shard, blood orb. Let's put those on, and divination helmet. Right there, bound helmet. What you'll notice is I now have not only water breathing, fire resistance, boost, I have night vision, but I'm getting the devilish protection because I have an entire suit on. But there's one more step. Now you'll see. That is the haste. I get a little bit of a jump boost just to show you. But how high is that? Yep, that's about 3 blocks. I actually have step assist that's going on, which is very strange, very strange. And when you get on flat surfaces, it definitely picks up. The only weird thing is you don't have that speed boost side to side or even back. It's only forward, and it feels a little weird, but it'll do. I have no fall damage, which is very, very nice. I've got that sigil of the Green Grove kicking into effect, which means if I just walk by planted trees, they will automatically grow. Water breathing, lava immunity, all sorts of very, very nice things. So, this is definitely going to be our new suit of armor for a while. Plus, we definitely look mean in it. It makes me feel like a blood elemental. Something equally as nasty and gruesome. So, that has kicked things off. Now what I need to do is I need to make, since I used it, a replacement for my divination sigil. That's just glass. One of those. Let me close that. Let's pop back up to the main base. I can put those back. And I need to pull out, I think it's that one. And some glass. Did I mess something up? It's one up, of course. There we go. Get that. Put those back. I still have some extra weak blood shards left over. And this means now that I have my divination sigil back to check on the level of my blood network. I don't actually need this anymore because this was preventing fire damage, preventing fall damage, and giving me underwater breathing. So I can actually pack this away. This I may need. And, oh, actually, you know what? Come here, you. Let's swap those around. Pull this out. Not that one. This one. That is not the right sigil. You turn around a little bit every once in a while. I need one of those. I do believe this is going to get us firmly set up and working. So, now another thing that I have also been a busy little beaver at is making a bound axe, a bound shovel, and a bound pickaxe. Now, I will show you exactly what the trick to that is. Let's make use of our flying sigil right here. Now, you guys remember this. I used this a couple of episodes ago, a master ritual stone. This is a ritual of binding. What I actually have to do is use, oh gosh, where did I put it? This, weak activation crystal. Basically, I right-click on this with the activation crystal, and then I throw a diamond pickaxe in. Lightning strikes, and there are some more lightning strikes, some fire, some blood is burned, and you get the bound axe as a result. You still have to enchant it yourself. Well, what that does is you have a risk of losing that axe during the ritual process because you can't use your sigil of magnetism. Otherwise, as soon as you throw that diamond axe pickaxe out, it gets pulled back. You have to turn that off. Well, what's the solution? Salamander's Eye from Xeno's Reliquary. That's the solution. What I've discovered was when I was actually doing the ritual, all I had to do was toss out the pickaxe and then hold this. I'd move around a little bit around the circle, and that means that I would put out fires as they happened, because if your bound axe pops out and hits into a fire, it gets destroyed. That's 3 diamonds and a whole lot of blood and time down the drain. So, if you're going to be doing some rituals of binding, Salamander's Eye from Xeno's Reliquary. It is in the YogsCast Complete pack, and it's also in the Resonant Rise pack. So I think it's a wise investment for any blood mage that's going to be doing some rituals. It will save you some grief. Now, I've got these up here. Honestly, I'm still figuring out how to use these, but you'll notice deactivated. 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 You have to turn these on, just like the sword. Shift right click. Otherwise, they use blood. Die. Thank you. Oh, I should turn that back on. So, you have to turn this on to use it, otherwise bad things happen. Why do we have monsters? Oh, they're spawning in the kelp. There's technically an air pocket in the kelp. Hey, that's pretty high to jump. You know what? I think it is time. Whoa, charge creeper. There we go. It's a nice quick way to make a charged creeper, though it's scary as heck. So, whoop. I'm hitting a little bit of lag. That's the hard part about flight with bound armor. It is hold down right click to fly and you are directing yourself, which means that you actually have to fly to a certain extent by minimap. It takes a little bit of getting used to. But needless to say, that is going to be our method of operation. Now we're also going to have at our disposal, I'm going to put that up, put the salamander's eye back. We're going to have the phantom bridge with us, which means if we do that, and thanks to the actual jump boost we have from our armor now, I can actually jump up with that quite easily. Let's turn that on. You just jump, hold down shift, and I can hike myself up little by little because of the jump boost that I've got. That's real nice. Yes, I get higher and higher and higher. So, that's the other weird thing about this, the way that it filters. But it takes a little bit of getting used to. So, now the only ones I have to worry about are divination, phantom bridge, and air sigil. Those are the only ones I really have to worry about actually using up LP. Technically speaking, if I walk over here and, whoa, stand next to my tree farm, you'll notice things pick up their pace quite a bit quicker. I'm pretty sure it actually works on rubber trees, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll tell you what, though, this is the fastest I've seen this farm work in a long time. Wow. So, this armor is very nice, and it's paying for itself already. Cacti, sugarcane, everything gets sped up, you see? Watch it grow just by standing next to it. I could definitely see having a couple of different sets of armor, by the way, with different kinds of enchantments on them. That could be very, very nice, very handy. I think those are going to get stuck there if I don't do something about them, so let's turn that back on. There we go. Up on top of the volcano, and absolutely no worries. It's very, very nice to feel invulnerable again. I was having a lot of problems with that. Oh, you notice, by the way, now, even without my armor, even without my elemental sigil, I don't have to worry about the visibility underwater because I have the boost. That is so funny. I don't get the speed boost until I hit a solid object. That is strange. Okay. Holy cow. There we go. Let's step back inside before we hurt ourselves. So, we got some mobility back. I'm actually going to rearrange these a little bit. Yep. Air. Phantom Bridge. And actually, no, that's going to be my utility. I love my atomic disassembler, but I think for mining, I'm going to be going back to separate utilities so I can get some better bonuses. And yes, I do still mine by hand sometimes. So, okay, I think this is actually going to be a good quick pause while I go and build up some more resources for a project that we've got. Now, it's going to require some building, and if you've been paying attention to my mod guide series, it is going to involve the layout blocks from Charlotte's Utilities. So, give me just a minute. I'm going to get some resources together, and we'll be right back. Greetings. It's me again, and I wanted to give you a quick update before we step on to our next project. I have replaced the chunk loader on the base. It was a dimensional anchor, and I've replaced it with a chicken chunks chunk loader. Why have I done this? What is the madness behind my idea? Whoop, storm. Well, basic idea here is the chicken chunks chunk loaders respond to redstone. If you notice, up here in the top right corner of my screen, I have a grid, and you'll see a darker area of the map that's a 5x5 grid that centers on the volcano. That is the number of chunks in the area that are being loaded by this chunk loader. Now, when it receives a redstone signal, it goes down to 1 chunk. So what I've done, I'm just going to set this to detect player with the name number 1. You'll see it will go down to 1 chunk. Takes a minute to update, but it's only loading 1 chunk now. So basically what I've done is I've gotten an online player detector. I have it detect me. And when it does that, it sends out a redstone signal. The problem is, I want no redstone signal if I'm online, so I have to invert it. So I have a piece of redstone going into this block right here. Redstone torch turns off because of this redstone signal, and the chunk loader goes back to 5x5 again. This means that when I'm online, my base is loading a 5x5 chunk, but if I'm offline, it's only loading the volcano. Everything else gets disconnected and unchunk loaded. This means that I'm having less stress on the server, less overall fatigue on the server. This makes me very, very happy. So, that was a quick interlude. I'm going to now go get some resources so we can go on to our building project. Be right back. Okay, here we are in the skies above the volcano with a whole bunch of ugly stuff on the screen. What's going on? Well, I actually have the chunk lines turned on the map so I could actually see things and get lined up properly. And I turned this on specifically so I could see the exact chunk boundary and center myself a little bit. The basic idea is to get some of these fun blocks. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. So, I covered these earlier in the week. These are Charlotte's Utilities layout blocks. And basically what I'm going to do, I'm using the Phantom Bridge from Blood Magic. I absolutely love this thing. And basically I'm going to make an airship. I'm going to make a warship. Some 3 chunks across. And you'll see the line extending on the minimap. Shar has done a wonderful job. How close did that get? 1 block away. Wow, okay. So now the fun part. I right-click, swap, and automatically get these blocks back. This, what we're looking at right here, is going to be the full length of the ship. Now, it is not actually, it's going to have a little bit of a bow here. So technically, this is actually going to go back a couple of blocks. And it'll probably, the point will probably come out into this chunk. But the basic premise is that I want somebody in front of the volcano to look up and see this massive thing hanging in the air. And yeah, I think it's going to be very, very cool. It's going to be a multi-purpose space. I'm probably going to move some machines in here. Let's get some altitude right here. And for the moment, I'm going to turn the Phantom Bridge off. All this jumping is making me hungry. And you know what? I actually don't need that up here right now. Magnetism. Actually, I'll leave Phantom Bridge on the bar. And a little bit longer. You know what? Whoa. Sploosh. Shift or crouch gives you a break. And here's a fun thing I've discovered about controls and the Phantom Bridge. If you hold down jump, you can actually jump over the edge. Goodbye. I probably need to put some torches up here, but I didn't think about that. So I'm actually going to retract this slightly. Still think that's weird. Back to, oh, let's say 2 past the second chunk boundary. Yeah. Now, what I'm going to do actually going to turn this back on. There you go. And basically the idea that I had for this, the inspiration as it were, why is there still a Phantom Bridge down there? Oh, this isn't wise. There we go. Did that clear it up? There we go. All the extra Phantom Bridge is gone. There we go. Now if we come down here, let's turn off these pesky lines. That needs to be changed. And Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3. I want to get the sweep on this that I want. Let's pull the bridge back and see what we can see. This is a bit of an impression that you're going to see now on this. Still not quite sure how deep I want this thing, but I know I want it wider than I do deep. Step over the side here, pull the bridge back. Yeah, I'm going to make some adjustments on this, and I'm going to get started. This is basically the bottom keel. And what this means is this will be the bottom center line of the ship. I'm going to have a high straight back. It's going to be wider at the back than it is at the front. It's going to come to a point. But I think this is actually the route I want to go. So I'm going to do a little bit more work on this. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've been a busy monkey. I absolutely love my, oh, I'm changing biomes here. That is so strange. Weird. Anyway, I'm using the Phantom Bridge still. It works great for a mobile platform. You'll see I've changed the shape up and extended it just a little bit. I've got a specific inspiration that I'm working off of. And I'm still kind of determining how I think it's going to go. But I do think this is going to turn out to be a beautiful ship, and it's going to be big. Now here's the thing, right? This is not the bottom of the back end. It is going to still have a deck that flattens out under here, and it's going to come out a little bit further and come straight up. This thing is probably going to extend easily another 6 to 8 blocks on either side, and upwards probably another 10 to 12 blocks on top of that. It's going to have a flat main deck. The forecastle and the aft castles are going to be raised, and it is going to have engines that are going to be sticking off the side of it. Now, there is this particular inspiration that I'm working off of for this. There is a design ideal that I'm using as a master template, but I don't have blueprints for it, so I'm having to wing it as I go along. And that is the ship that's been made by the YogsCast on their series Yog Labs. They have a giant battleship that is hanging in the air just outside of Yog Labs, and they have nicknamed it the HMS Valiant Pernus. I actually had to look up how to spell Pernus, P-E-R-N-U-S, and yes, it is slang for what you think it's slang for. But that ship is huge, it's magnificent, it's beautiful, and I'm going to reskin it for my front yard. And I think it's going to be magnificent. Now you can see on the map, this thing is going to block out the sky. It's going to be just about all you'll be able to see from the ancient ruins, and that's how I like it. So I think I'm going to study up a little bit more on the blueprints I'm working off of, the pictures I'm working off of. In the meantime, I'm going to leave you on this note. Keep your eyes open for more Resonant Rise action next week, as well as return to live streaming from the server where we can make some progress on the arenas again. Maybe even get them up and working. So, until next time, this is Vaygrim signing off. Thank you very much for joining me here. As always, I appreciate you spending your time watching my videos. I will see you later. Bye-bye.